Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Gunesh.
Today's question is what factors should businesses consider when deciding if custom software is right for them?
Okay, that's an amazing question, and in fact, that's probably one of the most important questions because what I have seen, in the last 12 years, we've worked with 300 plus customers. Few of the customers, just because they felt that, yeah, if we get a software, we will grow. So they, without even considering the factors, whether they really need a software, they actually got us to make a software for them. But then, it's a little painful to say that it didn't work out well. They did not end up using the software. I later on realized that not every company needs a software. And the question is amazing because it's very important for every business to know whether they really need a software, whether the software will actually help them to grow. Okay. Yeah. So if you ask me for factors, the first thing I would say is the company should be very clear if they really want to grow their business. See, typically what happens in a business is when an entrepreneur starts, he typically starts everything in his brain. So the new idea, the wanting to help customers, everything starts inside the brain. So he, as a solopreneur, or maybe with the help of few of his friends or someone, they may start a business, and it all functions in his mind, and he's perfectly fine. Everything goes on well. After some time, when there is success, obviously the mind will not be able to cope up. He will not be able to remember everything. So then he'll start using a book or a paper to start writing down, what to do today, what are the tasks that are there, whom should I follow up, what is the revenue that has to come in. They'll start using paper, diary, and we see many business people, they function with a diary, and it works well for some time. And then when they continue to grow beyond that, they slowly go to tools like spreadsheets on a computer or a document, and emails, sending emails across, using WhatsApp groups for tracking various conversations and all. And that also works well until a time. But when a company wants to grow beyond that particular level, beyond a level where spreadsheets are no longer helping, that is when software is essential to facilitate their growth. So the first question is they should be clear if they are consistently growing and whether they want to really grow much further to that. Because growth, though it is desirable, it is not easy. It is something that people will have to go out of their comfort zone. Only then it will work. It is not that you just want more profits, you want more money, so I just want growth. It doesn't work like that. So do we really want growth is the first question they have to answer, the first factor that they have to consider. Second thing I would say is, are they having problems with whatever is happening right now? For example, it could be delayed deliveries to the customer, or continuous complaints from the customer, or it could be lack of productivity from team members. So such problems that are cropping up every day, and every day the management or the entrepreneur is continuously having to solve problems in the company, and it is taking away most of his time or her time, and they are not able to focus on business growth. They are not able to focus on scaling up. They're instead only looking at what's happening inside the business, and they become a business operator instead of a business leader. And they start looking into the business rather than looking outside the business and looking for growth of the business. So the second one is, are they really having problems in the business of everyday firefighting, which they need to take care of? I would say that would be the second factor. The third factor I would say is, do they have a committed team? Because typically a software will not be that useful if it's a solopreneur. Okay, if it's a single person trying to operate, yeah, there can be specific tools that they can use, but not an entirely full-fledged software might not really add a great value to a solopreneur. So typically a software would be used for a company with a team, maybe with 5 people or 10 people or 20 or 50 people. That's the size of the company who would benefit a lot if there is a software solution. But what happens is, if the team is not committed, and if the team is not dedicated, and they are not hardworking, and they are not well chosen, and they are someone who would continuously find excuses and not to do the work on time, they lack productivity. If they are not a well chosen team, even then a software will not work, because what we have observed in few of the companies is the team will not cooperate. The management or the entrepreneur would want to have proper systems, controls, and automation, and they really want to scale up the business because the survival of the business actually depends on scaling up of the business. But the team will not cooperate. They will say, no, the software is not working, or they will say that no, the software is slowing us down. It is only creating more problems. So if the team is not cooperating, there is no way a software can be implemented. So that's the third thing that they have to consider before going for a software. Fourth one I would say is a strong culture in the organization. In fact, there is a saying, I think Peter Drucker had mentioned it, saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So, what it basically means is that we all think of business strategy to make more money, to have a business growth. We think of a strategy that I will do like this, I will serve this segment of the customer, I will have a team like this, I will produce this product, I will have this innovation. So there's a strategy that everybody thinks. All the entrepreneurs, though they might not call it as with the word strategy, but everybody has a plan or something to execute. What Peter Drucker says is that until and unless there is no organization culture, that is vision, mission, policies, guidelines, core values, and all the team members sticking to a particular process of doing things and behavioral or character guidelines and all that. If there is no proper culture in the organization, there is no strategy that can survive. So strategy can be the best of the best strategy, but it will ultimately depend on the culture that is there in the organization. So if the entrepreneur or the business leader who is there has not succeeded in implementing a very strong culture in the organization. So for example, I'll tell you, when you walk into some retail stores, you will see that every attender there is so keen to listen to you, and they want to serve you, and they'll walk from one corner of the shop to the other corner of the shop to show you something. You see that in some retail shops. The culture is amazing over there. Whereas you go into some other retail shop, probably the next one to that, and then you walk in there and you ask one of the attender there saying that, hey, where do I find this item? They'll say, go to that place, to the corner. They'll not even be willing to walk, and sometimes they'll even be so rude saying that I don't know. you know so it depends on the culture of the organization. So if the entrepreneur has not succeeded in implementing or instilling a proper culture into the organization, and that comes only through communication and only through display of, the owner himself or the entrepreneur himself or herself is displaying that culture in every interaction and every communication, that's the only way you can implement it. And without a strong culture, it is extremely difficult to implement a software solution into an organization. The reason is because there will be a major culture shock that will happen. So everybody would have functioned in the company or in the organization without a software until then, not entering anything into the computer, not looking at numbers, not being questioned by the system, being controlled by different approvals, escalation matrices, and turnaround time being monitored, and all the they wouldn't have had all those things. And suddenly, when there is a software, if you are not flexible and if the culture is not there in the organization where you're looking at excellence and looking at customer delight, you will not be willing to accept what is being implemented. You will not appreciate what is being implemented. You will not say, hey, this is really nice. With this, I can actually serve my customer more. I can actually help more. I can actually produce more results. The culture of the organization will not support such positive statements at all. Instead, people will start complaining, no, this will not work. It's full of bugs. This is one complaint that we get from few companies. No matter how much we fix bugs, or how much we clear the whole software, no matter how much we make it user friendly, the answer that we keep getting from very few companies is it's full of bugs. We would have spent 2 months, 3 months in implementing, clearing everything, answering all the doubts, or fixing all the bugs and making it a perfectly running software, but they are not willing to accept it. Okay, so I would say these are the four reasons or four factors that every business should consider before they get into a custom software solution.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, just summarizing what you said, the first point to consider is, do a business owner really want to grow their business? And the second point is, are they facing any existing problems in their business? So they want to solve it using custom software. The third point is, do they have a committed team? Because without a committed team, there can't be any success seen, and the implementation of software also be tough. And finally, the last point is, like, to be a successful organization, the company should have a strong culture, because only if they have a strong culture, it will be easy and profitable to implement a custom software in their organization.
Absolutely. Thank you,
So
Bhuvanesh, for summarizing. That was quite good. Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
thank you
correct.
for that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very insightful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Thank you very much for